One of the things that most surprises Germans is that American teenagers cannot legally engage in sexual acts until they reach the age of 18. This seems crazy to Germans because American teens can get driver's licenses and drive cars without supervision when they're just 16 years old. In fact, I was 16 when I got my first car. In addition, I had my first rifle at 15. So American teens are able to control two items, a car and a firearm, which could kill themselves or any number of other people long before they reach 18. But they cannot legally enjoy their own bodies with anyone else present or even aware of what they're doing, which cannot kill them or anyone else until they reach 18. The idea behind this concept is that a teenage penis is more dangerous than a 6,000-pound car being driven at 70 miles an hour through a residential neighborhood, or a loaded semi-automatic rifle with a full magazine. That is crazy for Germans who tend to be a very logical people. In contrast, I'll tell you that someone must be at least 18 years old in Germany in order to get a driver's license for a car or to possess a gun. But they can purchase beer and make decisions about their own bodies long before turning 18. Sure, I understand the argument that teenagers cannot be trusted not to make mistakes which could result in unplanned pregnancies. But that argument falls flat on its face when confronted by reality. That might sell well in the Bible Belt, but nobody's buying it here in Germany. Here's a crazy fact. While German teens are allowed to have sex as young as 14, according to UNICEF, Germany ranks 6th in the entire world for the lowest rate of teen pregnancy. Meanwhile, the United States, which sets the age of consent 4 years higher at 18, ranks 23rd in the entire world. The numbers don't lie. So preventing teenagers from engaging in normal activities when their hormones are pumping does not necessarily result in unplanned teen pregnancies. The facts just don't lie. The numbers don't lie. Germans are always surprised to learn just how easy it is to be accused, arrested, and convicted for a sex offense in the United States. Now, for a moment, I'm going to be speaking strictly about the law in Florida. In Florida, the law states that the victim's testimony need not be corroborated in prosecutions for sexual battery. To say it in plain English, the prosecutor does not need any evidence at all except for the bare bones accusation made by the victim. Unlike what folks see on TV or in the movies, prosecutors do not need DNA, do not need fingerprints, photographs, surveillance videos, or confessions in order to have someone convicted for a sex offense. So if the victim tells a good enough story and the jury is willing to believe it without any independent evidence, somebody's going to jail. Can you imagine a murder trial in which the prosecutor makes the claim that the defendant murdered a defenseless old woman? All the prosecutor has in this case is an old man who testifies that he saw the defendant murder his wife. The prosecutor would not need any evidence of a body or a murder weapon or DNA or fingerprints or crime scene photos or even proof that the man was ever married. And that would be beyond belief, wouldn't it? And yet, that's exactly how sex offenses are prosecuted. Here's the follow-up problem. Let's say that a wife is divorcing her husband and she doesn't want him to have custody of the kids. She is so mad at him, so desperate to cause him pain by keeping him away from his own kids, that she calls the police and falsely claims that she witnessed her ex-husband touching his daughters inappropriately during bath time 10 years previously. He gets arrested, of course. And let's say that later her conscience gets the better of her and she feels bad about lying against her ex-husband, who's been sitting in county jail this whole time. She now understands that things have gone too far. Under Florida law, if she takes back her accusations, she can now be charged with making a false accusation of rape, and it will be her turn to go to prison. At that point, either she keeps her mouth shut with the result that her ex-husband is going to prison for something he didn't do, or she admits that she lied with the result that she is now the one going to prison. Which choice do you think she's going to make? So, once an accusation is made, even if made in a moment of anger with no real intent to get someone's life ruined, there is no taking it back. Somebody is going to prison. Either way, those kids are going to lose a parent. Now, think of all those instances when a student is angry with a teacher. A child is angry with a parent for not getting something they wanted or getting their own way. Or a girlfriend is mad at her boyfriend for cheating on her. All these people have to do is simply make an accusation to the police. And it's over. The wheels are set in motion and there is no stopping them. That's not only frightening, but to Germans, it's downright offensive. As far as I know, every state in the Union has a special task force, the sole purpose of which is trolling the internet looking for folks who are searching out younger sexual partners. We know all about the stings that are set up by police, where officers pretend to be boys or girls and try to get folks online to engage with them in sexual banter, with the eventual goal of trying to get these adults to meet with the children somewhere for a sexual encounter. Inevitably, the adult gets arrested for solicitation. County jails are now filled to overflowing with folks in this situation. They have not actually touched anyone, but the law makes it illegal just to chat about sex with imaginary minors. And the fact that no real victim actually exists, the fact that no real child was actually involved or harmed, is completely irrelevant. These folks who do not actually have victims must now pay to sit in county jail until their cases are resolved, must pay for a lawyer unless one is appointed, of course, must pay for their court-ordered treatment for decades, and must pay for the court-ordered polygraphs associated with their treatment. Does anyone in this day and age not believe that this has become a money-making scheme set up by the government? And let's not overlook that these folks will likely lose their jobs while sitting in county jail, likely will lose their homes, and may even lose their marriages. And then there's all the problems associated with having their names and faces placed on the public sex offender registry. All this for a crime in which the victim was imaginary. Is it illegal to proposition minors online? Yes. Should it be illegal? Yes. But should people have their entire lives ruined for harming exactly no one? Surely it's not going to surprise you to find out that Germany doesn't have such task forces. Anyway, these are the things that my German friends and I chat about. Things which they find not just surprising, but downright offensive to common sense and human decency. The next thing that surprises my German friends is that someone can be convicted of child molestation even if the victim intentionally deceives the defendant about their true age. That's because Florida law states very clearly, neither shall misrepresentation of age by the victim nor a bona fide belief that the victim is over the specified age be a defense. You heard that correctly, right? So here's the problem. A man goes into a singles bar and he meets a young woman sitting at the bar sipping on alcohol. They sit together for a while, and she tells him all about her studies at the local university. They hit it off, and they decide to drive to an empty park for some adult fun in his car. But he lives in Florida, and so he is rightfully paranoid. He asks to see her driver's license just to make sure that she is older than 18. To his relief, she produces a license which clearly states that she is 22 years old. At this point, the man is absolutely convinced that she is of legal age and everything is good to go. However, while they're still in the parked car, a patrol cop spots them, and during his initial investigation, the cop asks to see ID for both occupants. While examining the licenses of both occupants, the policeman discovers that the young woman's license is a fake. She's actually 15 years old. And at this point, the man is arrested for child molestation despite the fact that he took every reasonable precaution to ensure that he was not breaking the law. The fact that the young woman knowingly and intentionally deceived the man is not a defense in Florida. The law allows no exception for deceit on the part of the victim. The law simply does not care. And in this scenario, what will happen to the girl? She will be treated as the victim of a sexual assault. Maybe she's charged with possession of a fraudulent license, but I really doubt it. After all, as far as the law is concerned, she was victimized by this vile sexual predator. Well, I really hope that you enjoyed this video, as I always hope that you do. We put an awful lot of time and effort into making these. I know it's been a little while since I've made the last one, but a lot of that had to do with me transitioning into a new home and transitioning into a new job at work. So now that I have my own apartment where I can set up my own studio, and this is a real place that I'm at, this is not a green screen. But not only do I hope that you enjoy this, but I really hope it got you to think about some things, because it wasn't until I left the United States that I began to realize just how out of whack the United States sex offender policies really are. There are some aspects to American criminal law, particularly with sex offenses, that just don't make sense. They're not borne out by the data, they're not borne out by the statistics, and they're not borne out by simple common logic. Common logic, common sense, hopefully based on logic. Until next time, I hope that you're thinking about your future, and I hope that you're taking positive steps toward it. I say it in every video, so I'm going to say it here. If you're not happy with your situation, if you're not happy with your life in the United States, living as a convicted sex offender or connected to the registry somehow through a loved one or whatnot, then it's on you to do something about it. We know these laws are fucked up. The whole world knows that they're fucked up. Question is, what are we going to do about it? Until next time, my friends, be safe, be well, and take positive steps forward. Cheers.